All right, everybody. Welcome in. It's Wednesday night, Wednesday evening, actually. It's still, I don't know, kind of feels like night. Very long day in court today. We had double trials going on. We had day 31 of the Karen Reed trial and Turtleboy's trial. I believe that was day 2. I may be wrong. Jess could correct me on that. But lots going on. I'll be honest with you. I was more it was funny. I was focused Karen Reed like all day. You probably saw me tweeting and posting on Facebook. But in interim of that, I'm trying to watch Jess's tweet stream and catch up on Aiden's case. It was like almost impossible to do. But just a couple of things that have happened over the last couple of days here. A woman falls head over heels for the crash daddy outside of the court. I don't know if you saw the video, but I hope that she's okay. It was pretty hilarious to see. We had ARCCA and La Posada slay inside the courtroom. We're not backing down and gave Hank the facts in this case. Hank Brennan obviously fails over the last 3 days. The defense rested today, and it looks like closing arguments are going to be scheduled for Friday. And then obviously we're going to get Jess here in about 2 milliseconds to come up here and talk to us about Turtleboy too. So what we'll do, half the show in the beginning, Karen Reed, I got to get Jess caught up, and then Jess going to get me caught up on Turtleboy's case. But here we go. This is the one and only inside courtroom reporter, Jess Machado, joining the live show. Jess, Wednesday night rundown. How are you?
Hi, Betsy. How's it going?
It's good. Lots of action going on. I heard the crowds are growing outside of the courthouse. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then obviously I want to get into some jury reactions with ARCCA over the last couple of days.
So it's starting to feel a lot like the end of the last trial. There are a lot of people outside today, a lot of people outside on Monday. It's continuing to build as people identify. So followers of this case can see it's coming to a close. They are planning their trips here. It's like a pilgrimage. There are many people that are coming from outside of Massachusetts. They are flying in from all over the country, all over the world, actually. I met someone from Ireland today. Wow. And these people are so invested in this case. They are literally choosing to fly out to Massachusetts, to Dedham, and be outside. And the crowds don't dissipate throughout the day. So very similar to what we saw last year. People, hi, everybody. Hi. By the way, just to let you know, I have sushi that I'm going to be eating as Brian's talking because I haven't had dinner yet. It's been a day. So yeah, the crowds are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think it's what's really adding to that is you have Aiden's case across the street. Yeah. I don't think that's a coincidence, actually. You know what I mean? It's like to kind of take him away from that. If the Commonwealth could have planned it any better, he can't be in the courtroom because he's defending himself next door. Yeah. But the crowds are obviously, you very rarely have just Karen Reed supporters and not Aiden supporters. Everybody understands the adjacency. And so it feels like last year. It feels a lot like last year right now. The crowds are big and it was a little overwhelming today. I'll be honest with you. I had a lot of people come over and approach me. We've all grown platforms since last year. Yeah. And so I think last year it was moderate, like fangirl moments, but like today I had so many people coming over, and I know I didn't get to everybody, but you'll see when you go. Brian, everybody was asking for you. You know, the people who have like really carried this case to the people who support Karen Reed and actually just about truth and honesty and reporting about the facts and all of those things. These people like really appreciate you and me and Aiden and the others. And so they want to say hi and take selfies, and it feels a little awkward because it's a murder trial, but everybody's really great about it. And you know, there's silver linings in this bad situation, and I think that's one of them. So you'll see. I heard you're coming tomorrow. You'll see what it's like. Feels a lot like last year.
Yeah, I have court tomorrow in Rentham, not for anything criminal. Well, I guess it's criminal according to Rentham. I got a speeding ticket that I'm going to go and try to contest. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to head over to the courthouse and hang out and obviously, you know, talk to supporters and you know, kind of feel the buzz down there. I'm really excited to get down there. I heard the crowd, like I said, is just growing massively. It was funny. I saw a post on X today. I think there was the opposite side out there today, and someone zoomed in. It's literally like 2 people standing there with a sign, and I made this like funny post. I was like, oh my God, they're coming in droves or something like that. And I'm like, look out, it's just the 2 of them. But this has been kind of the
I
common
haven't.
theme in all of this. It's been the common theme in all of this. You know, the trolls online, they scream and say, "Oh, you all hate John O'Keefe. You know, you don't care about him." No, because this is what this is about. It's about John O'Keefe and Karen Read and finding justice for both of them. But you know, they never come out. They come out in a flash in a pan. They want to get their moment, their you know, their clips, get them up online and say, "Oh, we're doing something. We're kind of protesting," and that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't see anybody other than Free Karen Read supporters and Turtleboy supporters. There's a lot of pink and a lot of green out there today. And I don't know if you saw, but towards the end of the day, when we just finished with Aiden's trial, I walked out and Karen's team was leaving, and all of her supporters lined the side street and didn't say anything. It was a silent, like, connection between her and them. They did the symbol with their hands. What is it? Is it
Wow.
this?
Yeah.
And she did it back to them, but it was quiet. It was kind
Yeah.
of like a goosebump moment. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It was like very like Hunger Games. And so yeah, there's a lot of people. They hang out all day. I mean, people are setting up camp and tables and TVs. They're laying on the lawn. It's a sight to be seen for sure.
Yeah. Let's go to this, Jess. I'm going to play a clip of Karen speaking after court and just let everybody know
Okay.
what she had to say about today.
Karen, was there confusion? Did you guys rest or not rest? Or what happened?
He was terrific, as always. Honest and stood by his analysis and answered truthfully.
Are you ready for closing?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Why 90 minutes? What can we expect to hear?
All the facts, all the truth, everything that went wrong with their case.
Sorry, what do you make of the prosecution not calling you rebuttals?
They don't have any analysis and they don't have any facts to present with Dr. Welcher, so they're done.
Karen,
What do you want the
Karen,
jury
you had
to
said
know?
before you have butterflies at this stage. Are you
I do.
feeling those?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think your case is stronger this time?
I thought it was strong last year. It's stronger. Yes, we just called more witnesses and laid out more of the case.
How do you feel about the jury?
I feel good about the jury. Yeah, we selected them. I was there. I took part in it, and we chose fair and truthful, civic-minded citizens of Norfolk County.
What do you
so I
want the
feel good.
jurors to know as they go get their instructions?
I just hope they were listening. That's all I can ask for. They were in the same room I was for the last, I don't know how many days that was, 33 days.
31. Given what we saw play out in the last trial regarding the verdict forms and what we now know that the jury found unanimously came to a conclusion, what are your concerns going into it this time around?
Obviously, after what happened in the first trial and what we heard from the jurors that came forward, we just have to have an even keener eye on the verdict form and the jury instructions.
Okay,
That we
guys,
did last year.
here we
Thank
go.
you.
Switch to the investigation to focus
No more questions, guys.
Thank you.
Ted Daniel, FD, all the players there. Someone's got a question for you, Jess. Unlocked $5 says, Jess, in your last few days, can you comment on juror 1 and if they were taking notes at all over the last few days? Let's do this, Jess. You were in there during Dr. Wolf's testimony. Talk to us about the jury reactions that went on in that room throughout that day.
So just for transparency, I covered Aiden's trial today all day, so I was not in the courtroom today. I was taking a mental health day yesterday, and so I wasn't there at all yesterday. And I was only in there for an hour on Monday, but I was there last week. So just jury reactions are constantly the number one request. I can tell you there is one juror that does not take notes. Juror number 1. He is in that same seat as the last I guess juror number 1, whichever way you look at it. There's kind of like a weird way. Like I number mine from the front row to the back. Some people from the back to the front. I don't know. But it was Vineyard Vines juror last year. He was the foreman last year. It's the same seat. I don't know if that's a coincidence. I've heard people say that's usually the seat that Bev chooses is the foreman in her trials. I have no background on that. I just know in that particular seat was the foreman for the last jury for Karen Read, and also did not take notes and seemed disinterested. I can't say that this person seems disinterested. I just have seen zero reaction whatsoever, nothing at all, and very, very minimal note taking. I let everybody interpret that how they will. Some people consider that a good sign. Some people say it's a bad sign. I mean, then what do you say to the juror who has taken tons and tons and tons of notes, and has filled up notebooks? Of interest, I think, would be that one juror that we talked about, the male juror who has the clipboard usually up against his chest. He took a lot of notes. He seemed very interested in Dr. Wolf's testimony. But then, I lean back on Sue O'Connell, where she says that might be an indication of what that person does in their occupation in real life, or like what their lives are like, of which we have no idea. I mean, you only hope to know later on, so that maybe you can like figure it out. For some of us, like who are really following the jury, the aftermath is what matters most. I want to hopefully, like we heard from Bowtie juror, what's his name? It's not Bobby or whatever his name is, but that Aiden had interviewed, and we got
Ronnie.
Ronnie, we got insight. And obviously everybody who knows me is aware that I am anxiously awaiting Aiden's interview with infamous juror number 4 yesterday, which I don't know, Brian, if you caught this, but I met her today. From last year. Yes. I met her today. I mean, my obsession with jurors in the most like normal way is pretty real. And again, I've taken a lot of notes. I've handpicked jurors on this jury that I believe understand the evidence and are going to say this woman did not commit this murder. I have picked these individuals based on their body language, their interest, their sometimes reactions, their facial expressions, which I've documented throughout the trial when I'm in there. So if you follow me, there's a couple people that you think that this would be a slam dunk. But do those people get on the jury, or are they picked as alternates? And will we see transparency this time in that selection as opposed to last year? I don't know.
Yeah. And I saw something, I think or Aiden was tweeting the other day when there was a pivotal point in the ARCCA testimony. And I think it was like Dr. Wolf said for like the first time, it was like something to the effect of like, none of this information is really adding up. So it doesn't, it basically just debunking the accident. And Aiden was like, holy shit. Like when he said that, there was like 8 jurors that literally turned and smiled to each other. So you're getting a lot of that in the courtroom. And again, listen, we got excited last time. You never know what's inside a jury's mind, and that's I wish we could just look in people's brains and go, all right, what are they really thinking? Because I'm being honest with you, when I sat in last trial and when I sat in last trial, I was like looking at jurors. I'm like, all right, they're reacting and they're watching Jackson and you're thinking like, this is going well. And then when I got to sit in early this time around, their poker faces were on. So it was still very early in the trial. And like you said, Jess, you've seen a lot of those faces start kind of coming out and their personalities start coming out. And I think they loosen up as the trial goes along, because it is 31 days in a courtroom, in a stuffy, hot courtroom is long. I mean, even, I was talking to Ted Daniel the other day. He was even saying like, there are days in there that is just flipping hot. And you're kind of, your mind is just melting because there's just so much data and information coming out and you're almost like tired at that point. You're like done. So
I saw your interview with Ted, by the way. I thought it was great. And Ted is also great. You can never know. We've actually learned that sometimes what we're thinking is the complete opposite. I mean, again, we've talked a little bit about this and I've shied away from talking about it. Although I discovered on TikTok, there are accounts out there that have the breakdown of the demographics of these people, their ages, their race. So if people dig around a little bit on TikTok, they'll find it. This is just a younger jury. We have a much younger group of people than we had last time. And the age range is... Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, we have somebody, Aiden has said we've got a kid that's 20. I think he's older than that, but definitely young. And we don't have anybody, I think, in the extension of Mima from last year, right? That, I thought was in her maybe 70s. I don't think we see that right now. So a much younger jury for sure. I don't know what that means. Leave that to the professionals who understand how to pick juries. I love hearing Karen say like, I picked these jurors. I was there. I had a hand in whether or not they, sat down to decide my fate. And knowing her and her, participation in this case, I think every juror had to at least feel right for her. I don't think you can win them all, but there's 18 there, and all you need is one out of that 18 to get picked and put on that jury that believes your story and that you're innocent. That's all you need is one for everything. I mean, so yeah, so jury testimony, jury reaction to testimony. I'll venture to say we saw a lot more reaction earlier on in this case and less as we've gone on. I don't know if there's been any type of coaching or telling them to stop, but smirky juror in the back was all about shaking his head and rolling his eyes and laughing. I haven't seen a lot of that from him as we've moved on, but yeah, so I say a little bit less. Again, knock on wood, we haven't lost a juror, and we're getting to a very precarious time, precocious. I don't know what the right word is, but it's coming on crunch time. And the other thing too, Bri, is there were some jurors that cried during the reading of the verdict last year. So last year on the day where they read the verdict, I'll never forget looking at jurors crying.
Wow.
There's emotion involved. I hope they can hold it together. I hope they're strong. I hope they can work through this. I want them to work through it very quickly. If we can get a decision by Friday. I know someone said, what a great Father's Day gift for Mr. Reed to be out of this hellhole that he's in. But yeah, the jury has a big job to do. But to some people, it might be easy. Some people think this is easy, in, out, done, like not guilty, time to go home.
Yeah, look at it. I'll admit I'm emotionally invested in this. I've gotten the opportunity to meet a lot of great people. I've spent tons of time with the Reeds and around Karen. And you saw me break up last year when we heard the mistrial. I was out there standing next to you. It hit me pretty hard. It's very high emotions, and there is a lot of emotion here in Massachusetts, especially amongst the Free Karen Reed crowd. It's just, we're all invested in this. We're very emotionally invested in this. A question from Sue. Jess, do you think Hank is paying attention to any of the reaction from the jurors?
No, I do not. I've never seen him look at the jurors at all, come to think of it. I'm not kidding. I don't think I've seen him look at the jurors. I think the only time I saw him look at the jurors is he was saying something last week. Somebody could find it in my tweets, but I think he was saying something and he walked slowly past them and was talking, but not to them. He was just talking, but facing them. I can't listen. Hank sits in his seat when he is not questioning a witness, and he's actually staring at the witness. He's 3 feet away, right in front of that person, and he's just staring at the witness. Occasionally he'll take notes. I don't ever see him chat with Lally, maybe once or twice.
Lally
was
playing with paper clips the other day. Did you see that clip? He was spinning.
Sure, no, I haven't, but that makes so much sense. Yeah, no, I can't believe we're paying 2 people, 3, but I can't believe we're paying Hank and Lally.
It's crazy. Quick time to stand.
I haven't seen him pay attention at all to them.
Yeah, time to stand, $5. Question for you: why does the judge seem one-sided? Do you think the jurors see right through this judge's bias? Listen, I'm a human. Jess is a human. It was very intense in that courtroom, and we'll play a clip here in a second, Jess, because I know you weren't inside in that courthouse today. You were over in the district court in Aiden's case, and I do want to get to that at the our second half here in the show. But look, I would just have to think that someone that is very outside of this case, where we're very visual, we base opinions on the way that someone's voice may be projecting or their body language. I gotta think that the jury is some of these people have to be picking up on. It's hard not to. We're human beings. We're used to human behavior and the way that people act around us. For an example, if you've ever gone out with a group of friends and maybe your group of friends bring a couple of new people that you've never met before, you're kind of sizing them up and you're looking at their body language and the things that they talk about and the way that they express themselves. And you're probably going to make an opinion they're nice or they're a dick. And I'm sure that the jury is probably picking up on some of this stuff. I don't know if you agree with me, Jess, but what do you think?
Well, I from watching the trial, you can see that it's very often that there's objections that get sustained and sometimes like repeatedly. And I felt on Monday when I was in there for that small amount of time, Jackson had made some objections and every one of them got shot down. I think by default, I think you just kind of register that in your brain and it's just like, nope, 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 nope. You know what I mean? A lot to me, one of the most egregious things I've heard come out of like the past couple of days is, Canoni saying like that the jurors are frustrated with the time arguing, being stepped away. Like,
Exactly.
I can't believe that she said that. And I really have an issue with that because number one, I can't imagine she's privy to that. From what I've heard, these court officers are not allowed to talk to the jury. So, other than just like giving like here's where we're whatever. So how is she getting that information? She's not speaking to the jury. So let's just say she's not talking to them and it's not coming from a court officer. That's her saying that they're feeling that way. You don't know how people are feeling. You don't know if they want to take their time. You have no idea. It's no different than John DePietro tweeting that the jurors are eating up everything Hank Brennan is saying. I
Yeah.
think it was wild to do that. And it just kind of like, I don't know, it was a deflating moment in the courtroom. Like, I think like to hear that, I wasn't in there for that. I saw it and I was just like, this is just negative. This is a negative vibe. And you shouldn't be feeling positive or negative from the judge. I can't say this enough. There are so many judges that are just flat in the middle of everything. I've watched them. There's one right across the street in the trial I watched today. He gave, a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other in both ways. Like, I'm not making that up. Like, there are judges that are impartial and they act impartial and it feels impartial. Perhaps she is impartial, but it doesn't feel impartial. And perception is reality for not only you and me, but for jurors as well. So you don't get time to explain yourself, Judge Canoni, that, maybe you're acting a certain way, but I really am, like in the middle of this. There's no time or room for that. All that we get is how you act in the courtroom. And you seem disinterested at times. You definitely push back. And, it looks like you're playing favorite student, favorite child in the courtroom. And I think that's palpable this far into it. We've seen enough of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and I know you missed testimony today, but there were so many objections from the defense during
Yeah.
testimony that she just allows. And then, there's objections from, I'm sorry, she blocks, she sustains
I know.
or blocks,
Yeah.
she allows it. And there's so many from the Commonwealth that she just allows. No, I'm going to let that in. No, I'm going to let that in. I'm going to let them speak about this. And it's so irrelevant to foundation to what's going on in the testimony. And you're scratching your head and you're going, what the hell? I think Brandy Churchwell had like an actual count, or Olivia Nile on X had an actual count today. It was like the percentage was ridiculous. And going back to the comment about,
I need that.
yeah,
Somebody
look up
send
Brandy.
me that. I need that.
I will. I'll send it to you. And I think Olivia or Brandy did the comparison. And another thing, Jess, I mean, going back to fed up, maybe she's fed up, but the problem is that she slows this trial down to a crawl constantly. I need to see the defense team. I need to see the Commonwealth. Let's go to a sidebar. I mean, there's probably a record for sidebars in the two trials. I mean, I would dare to put someone out there and compile how many sidebars have been during, these two trials. It's probably astronomical. But that's her fault. She slows this trial down. She is an extreme micromanager. She constantly pushes back against the defense, and look at, in my opinion, there is a ton of bias. She knows that the Commonwealth is losing. It was apparent today and over the last 3 days. La Posada shut down Hank Brennan. Wolf shut down Hank Brennan, and Rentschler wasn't taking any of his shit today and shut him down as well too. And they made Rentschler made Welcher look like an asshat today, like finger paint versus like Grand Supreme, testing. And we'll play a little bit of a clip here, but it was amazing today. It was amazing.
I mean, I'm not. I can't get it out of my head that we're on track for the same number of days, or like right close to it. Last time felt so much longer than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in some sort of like alternate universe. This just feels a lot faster. I don't know why. I know it's the same time. It just, this has gone by quicker to me.
It's wild. All right, let's play a little couple minutes of testimony so Jess can kind of hear what went on in the courtroom today. Wait, Jess, just wait. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Eat my sushi. By the way, Brian, just so you know, everybody was talking about this outside during recess from Aiden's trial. Like everybody was talking about whatever we're gonna see here.
Yeah, we'll play about 5 minutes of it so you can eat, relax a little bit, and listen. You're gonna love this.
Go ahead.
This is unbelievable.
Dr. Rentschler, facts matter, don't they?
They do, yes, sir.
You've said it many, many times. Facts matter. Isn't that correct?
It was details, but facts matter too.
Do details matter, doctor?
They do.
They're critical, aren't they?
If you want to prove that something happened a certain way, they're critical, yes, sir.
When you were talking to the jury and giving opinions about where Mr. O'Keefe might have fell or not fell, you were discussing where Mr. O'Keefe was lying on the side of the yard, weren't you?
Where he came to rest?
Came to rest.
Well, approximately. We don't know the exact position, but yes.
You said 10 to 20 feet, didn't you?
I believe so, yes.
You said that 3 times, 10 to 20 feet. Do you think Mr. O'Keefe was 20 feet from the roadway?
Well, I think he's maybe 10 feet, but 20 feet is from, if you're hit by the car, you need some distance to travel. He couldn't travel just horizontally, or perpendicularly. So it would be at least 10 to 20 feet if you look at the total distance.
You have no idea where the point of impact was in this collision, do you?
Nobody does.
I'm asking.
Boom. There it is, Jess. And I've been waiting for this fucking question all trial when this gets brought up. Nobody does, because you know what? There was only a few people that were there, you know? And I love that he said that, because it's just this fuck you moment right to Hank. And it's like, you don't know either. And none of your experts that you've put up here and opined to a bunch of bullshit, they don't know either. I loved it. I love that moment. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, let me play on here.
Horizontally, or perpendicularly. So it would be at least 10 to 20 feet if you look at the total distance.
You have no idea where the point of impact was in this collision, do you?
Nobody does.
I'm asking you, not nobody.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
So go ahead and ask the question.
Dr. Rentschler, before this jury, have no idea where the point of impact was of this collision, do you?
That's correct. There's no evidence.
Play exhibit 2, please. When you were giving your estimate 10 to 20 feet, Dr. Rentschler, did you ever see this photograph before or part of this video?
I'm sure I have.
Well, when you say you're sure you have, are you guessing, or have you seen it or not seen it?
I'm sure I've seen this before, yes.
So you've seen this before?
Yes.
Then when you look at this video, did you look at the street and look at the area where Mr. O'Keefe was?
Sure, yes.
Sure?
Yes.
20 feet, Dr. Rentschler?
The way I explained it to you, yes, sir. 10 to 20 feet.
Details matter, don't they?
They certainly do, yes, sir.
Take that down, please. Did you speak to anybody today, before you testified, about Dr. Welcher's testimony in court?
I did not today, no, sir.
Before today, did you speak to anybody about Dr. Welcher's testimony?
I did not, no, sir.
At any point, did anybody discuss certain issues with you today that they said would be particularly important?
I don't believe so, no, sir.
When you began your testimony yesterday, before you even finished your credentials, you began talking about your work with the NHL and how important it was to use a 50% hybrid 3 dummy. Do you remember that testimony?
I did, yes, sir.
And you hadn't even finished your credentials yet. Was it brought to your attention that there was an issue in the testing because you or Dr. Wolf or you and Dr. Wolf chose to use a 50% dummy?
Not at all, no, sir.
In your preparation for your testimony, was it discussed at all that at the beginning you should get ahead of the issue and talk about the 50% dummy?
I didn't know it was an issue, no, sir.
Well, you know the 50% dummy represents somebody who's 5'9", correct?
Approximately, yes, sir.
Approximately 173 pounds.
171, 172, somewhere around there.
And Mr. O'Keefe, how much did he weigh?
216, I believe.
How tall was he?
He was 73 inches, I believe.
So that is not a representative height and weight for Mr. O'Keefe, is it?
That height and weight, no, sir.
And so if you were making projections or analysis based on limb weights, they would be inaccurate if you didn't make adjustments, correct?
Well, they would certainly, the force on the limb would be less if you use a lighter limb. So if Mr. O'Keefe is heavier than the hybrid 3, and I use a hybrid 3, the forces I calculate would be an underestimate of the actual force acting on his body.
If you didn't make an adjustment, but you relied on the numbers from the test 3, the hybrid 3 dummy, ultimately the conclusions would be off, wouldn't they?
They would be an underestimate. Yes, the actual forces would be higher.
And so did you make any conclusions, or did you know that when Dr. Wolf did his tests using the hybrid 3 dummy, he didn't make any adjustments?
What do you mean? What adjustments would he make? You get the acceleration, but the acceleration's not going to change, and that's what we utilize. Then you can scale the weight of the body, but I'm not sure what he would have made adjustments for.
When you looked at the ratio, force and mass, if you use a lighter weight, the mass changes, doesn't it?
If you use a light, sure, yes.
And that changes the force equation, doesn't it?
That can, yes.
And so when you were discussing yesterday at the beginning of your testimony about the 50% dummy, had that issue been raised with you?
No, sir, it had not.
You had testified before, hadn't you?
In this case?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And you knew there was a sequestration order?
Prior?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't discuss the case with anyone, no, sir.
Well, you didn't discuss it with anybody, you said?
I did not, know.
Before you testified last year, you were receiving information from your employer about issues and testimony in the case.
The party that retained us told us things. I didn't.
Which is the FBI. So this is kind of how it went, Jess. A lot of back and forth in this. I mean, there was points of like Jackson, I think there was one point where it got so brutal that Hank was literally harassing him, and Jackson, Bev was talking, and Jackson just I'm listen, we're not going to do this. It was very back and forth for probably about a minute, and then Bev called everybody to sidebar, and it just got brutal. I mean, Rengela was just shutting Hank down all day. It was just phenomenal to watch.
I think there's a proportionate change in his tone that correlates to the witness and their confidence in their answers and their inability to be manipulated by him or caught off guard as they continue in their words, and they're still holding strong. Then his tone starts to change, and I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a hissy fit, and you start to see more personality and mistreatment of witnesses. I know mistreatment's a strong word, but you get my vibe. It's just different.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. We're going to play a 2-minute clip. We'll opine on that. And then I do want to hear about Aiden's trial today, because I know you have a lot of information to share with everybody. Let's just play this.
Sure.
This actually clip came from Microdots and more hissy fits from Hank Brennan.
Did not state that. That's correct.
So when you've made your criticisms that you've done testing regarding Dr. Welcher, you don't have any evidence, any statement on it that he was trying to reenact the actual collision.
When I did that, there was one test with the arm like this. That's the only evidence that was presented in his opinion or in his case. I evaluated that. I have not seen any other explanation of what happened or how it occurred. Specifically, Dr. Welcher said in his report on page 9, he said, I have conducted an accident reconstruction.
Watch Brennan. So he turns away. He's not getting the answer he wants. Renschel's not going to fall for it. He turns away. Watch how many times he starts shuffling on the papers here. This is hilarious. Watch this.
Construction and biomechanical engineering analysis of this matter. If he did not recreate how he was positioned, if he did not determine the speed of impact, if he did not determine how Mr. O'Keefe's body moved, if he did not determine where he ended up, then he did not conduct either an accident reconstruction analysis or a biomechanical causation analysis. He did nothing of the sort.
Other than your opinion, let's get back to my question if I could.
I believe I answered at the beginning of that, sir.
I'm going to ask you again.
Renschel got him.
Keep going, Hank. Watch here, as Karen and her team cannot believe that Hank Brennan is actually continuing with a line of questioning that establishes the Commonwealth doesn't have enough evidence to prove any theory.
My detailed question is,
By the way,
there's nothing in
oh, I thought Peggy O'Keefe was on her phone right here. I thought that was a phone. It's actually a piece of the table or something like that. I was like, why is Peggy on her phone? But watch.
Somebody else sent me that. Somebody else sent me that and said, did you know Peggy O'Keefe was on her phone? I was like, that's not her phone.
Yeah, I think it's part of the railing. But watch the defense team here now. And Karen actually winks at Liza.
Cannot believe that Hank Brennan is actually continuing with a line of questioning that establishes the Commonwealth doesn't have enough evidence to prove any theory.
My detailed question is, there is nothing in Dr. Welcher's report or any of his presentation that states he is trying to represent the exact posture, movement, and stance of Mr. O'Keefe when there was a collision. It's not anywhere in there where he stated that. Is it?
It's not stated. I'd be curious to find out what that, if that wasn't the intent of the test, I'd be curious to see what the actual intent was.
Is the answer no, it's not in there?
I think I just said that at the beginning of my answer, sir.
I'm going to ask you again. Is the answer no?
The answer is no.
One more thing. Dr. Rentschler, does the Commonwealth have a chance in hell of winning this case?
The answer is no.
Can we scroll back for a minute? Can we scroll back on that for a minute? Scroll back.
Yeah. Let me pull it back up for a
Bring
second.
it up.
Sorry.
Scroll back for a second. I have a question.
All right. Hang on. I love Richie. Richie puts together the best stuff. He's a genius.
Oh, I mean, listen, his work is great. Keep going back.
Okay.
Little bit before. Keep going. Okay, stop. Right there's good. Who's that woman sitting next to my man, Nate? Right there. Who's that lady? Who's this lady?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm being facetious. Like, everybody needs to leave Nathan Reed alone. He belongs to all of the moms. We all think he's our mascot. So I don't personally like how she's sitting that close to him. She needs to push over a little bit. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
He watches the show. You know that.
I do know that. That's why everybody was pushing on Little Table Guy last year. Now he's gone, and now it's Nate's taken his place. That's it.
That's a law student. Someone, Corey said, it's a law student.
Hank, when he does that weird thing with his hand and his finger, and he goes like this.
Well, he's trying to shut the witness.
Yeah. You know what I've also noticed? I don't know if anybody else has seen it. If you're in the courtroom, you'll know, like, sometimes when Hank is done, like, doing a cross, he, like, leaves the podium while the witness is still talking.
Yep.
Which I think is super disrespectful.
Yep.
And then he walks to his seat, and then he doesn't even say, like, we're all set or thank you. He just sits down, and you're like, I think he thinks it's like a flex of some kind, but it's just like, it seems super rude to me. You know what I mean? Like, why not just be nice or let people know, like, we're ending here. He literally packs up the podium and starts walking to his seat, and the witness is still chatting away. And then that's it. You're like, oh, I guess he's done.
Yeah, it's wild. Did you see Welcher today? Look at this, Jess.
No.
I'm sure you saw it. Look at Welcher hugging the mannequin. He's hugging the mannequin. The Commonwealth's expert is literally hugging the mannequin. I can't. And it was funny.
But that's not Randy, right? Is that Crash Test Randy? Is that like, no, that's not Randy, the same one, right?
I think he's getting Randy with Randy. But he's literally hugging the mannequin. I can't with this stuff. Let me get to a couple of these real quick. Josh says, if this goes to the jury at lunch on Friday, you think they will come back on Monday to deliberate further? It's already been 31 days with no proof. So my understanding is tomorrow's going to be a lot of housekeeping. I don't think the jury is going to be in the room. So they'll probably certify all the evidence. What's that, Jess?
Yeah, the jury's not in the room tomorrow.
Yeah, so they'll still certify all the evidence, make probably some last minute arguments, and then closing arguments will be on Friday morning. And then, probably by lunchtime Friday, the jury could get this if something doesn't come up, but definitely will give jurors. I think this is the way it was last year too. It went on a Friday. It got given to them on a Friday, and maybe someone can figure this out in the chat. It might have given to them on a Friday, and then we came back after the weekend on Monday in the deliberations. And correct me if I'm wrong. Josh, again, did the Commonwealth hide X-rays from the defense and ARCCA? ARCCA got them from the feds. Dr. Welch said there's none. Dr. L says that she got them a week ago. # Brady. Yeah, we heard about that. The X-rays. La Posada mentioned them, and we knew. Was it La Posada that mentioned them, or Rentschler mentioned them. It was like, whoa. Welcher said he didn't see X-rays, and there were X-rays. So yeah. Norman Corey, thank you for the 5. Nobody knows because it didn't happen. Hank just said goodbye to his private practice, quite possibly. Nancy said ham sandwiches for everybody, and thank you for the 50. I appreciate that. So it was a reference today during Rentschler's testimony when Hank asked him, like, what did you do and who picked you up and where did you go for lunch? And he's like, well, I was picked up by a car service, and the defense team said, hey, we're going to go have a ham sandwich. Why don't you come hang out with us? So that was kind of trending today in the circle of everybody. $10. Jody says, Rentschler must have a delicious ham sandwich for lunch because he came back swinging. F you, Brennan. I like that. Let's see. Norman Corey said, can we get a Hank impression? Oh, God. Are you done? Are you finished? Are you done? Gonna do it for the Commonwealth. Gonna do it for the Commonwealth. Bex, thank you so much for the new membership. I appreciate that. Mama said $10. I'm behind, but oh, I love Microdots dropping in. Absolutely. All right, Jess, let's hear about Turtleboy today. What happened? What's going on? Catch me up here.
So Monday, we were told that this case was going to start on Monday, but only for 2 hours. And then we were going to pick back up today, and we were going to be all done by today. It didn't go that way. I thought it was very early on. We recognized we were not going to be finishing this today because, number one, the Commonwealth hasn't gotten through all of their witnesses yet. And then we still have the defense. I talked to Attorney Bradel, and he told me, I can't remember if he said 6 or 8. I was kind of packing up, but he's got 6, let's just say 7 witnesses. He said they were going to go fast, but he still has all of his witnesses. And I thought I heard Cosgrove say he has 2 more witnesses, maybe. That's what I overheard at a sidebar. So it's very slow going. Cosgrove is snail-like, but we had 2 officers today. So we finished with Matt McCabe's sister. She came in, finished it up. It was so irremarkable. Like I don't remember what was said earlier today with her. She was in and out and she left. Oh, it had to do with video. We played her video that was on the screen. Like she was done. Then we had 2 police officers come in. We had Kozak and we had, I don't know, someone calls him Hollywood. I don't know what his name is. I can't think of it, but he came in and listen, are we sure that these aren't witnesses for the defense? Because the way that they spoke and the testimony they gave, number one, it did not prove anything. And number 2, it actually proved that Aiden abided by or attempted to avoid violating the restraining order, which he's accused of violating. So these 2 cops came in, they did the right thing. They answered the questions accurately, fairly, succinctly, and then they left. It was just in and out and boom and done. This is also something we've already heard before, and I don't know exactly what hearing it was, whether it was a dangerousness hearing. I don't know because there's been so many, but we've heard these guys testify before about this, so it was nothing new. Everything was the same. And then we got Lindsay Gattani, which was just the moment for all the wrong reasons, Lindsay. So don't get, excited about it. But like, she came in and looks different. I promised like followers I was going to draw a sketch, but I took pictures of her and I was told after the fact that we couldn't take photos. So I had already taken photos. I had sent them to some followers. I hadn't gotten a chance to post it yet because I recognized posting was kind of throwing off the threads. So the photos are out there, whether they make it to the public or not. I mean, the Commonwealth has to be a little faster by saying like, hey, this person can't have photos, because I had already taken them and sent them out. So I didn't post them, but they exist. I don't know. She doesn't look that great. She as trashy as she has looked in the past, at least she looks like there was more effort put in. I'm not sure if this was like a deliberate downplaying of things, but I don't think she looked really great or healthy for that matter. And her testimony was just pretty all over the place. I would venture to say it's perjury when she was asked by Attorney Bradel, are you aware that Kate Peter hates Aiden Carney? And she said no. And the audience got a little rowdy and started, making comments. And how can you not know that? I said, my mom knows that. Everybody knows that. And this is the person that she claims to be her friend. Bradel was really trying to get out of her today how Lindsay got there on this day. So this is the Karen Reed hearing right after Aiden was released from jail. He had only been out of jail like a day or 2. He's going to this hearing, and their theory is the defense. I mean, the O'Keefe family with Lindsay Gattani, with Kate Peter, with the McAlberts, they had this plan, and they were going to bring Lindsay Gattani to the courthouse and flush Aiden out of the courtroom. They knew he was going to be there. He said he was going to be there. That's why there were hundreds of people there, and the Commonwealth is saying that, you know, he violated this order. That's a very hard thing to prove in itself because number one, there's no video proof. We haven't seen anything that shows him violating the 300 yards or 300 feet, which is 100 yards. We haven't seen any of that yet. And there's no video evidence of him yelling at her or moving towards her or anything like that. But what Bradel is trying to do is really kind of build up during, you know, the Commonwealth calling their witnesses that this was a plan all along. And so he tried to get out of her how she actually got there. And she said she was told by Kate Peter that Paul O'Keefe wanted her there. And then Bradel went back again later and asked, like, but why? What was your purpose? And she said that they wanted to show solidarity with her because they were all being harassed by him. And so it was like a sign of solidarity. Which is crazy because Bradel very accurately pointed out she hadn't been to any hearings prior to, except for one, I believe, with Aiden. She hadn't been to any since. She certainly didn't go to the ones where she knew he wasn't going. I thought he did a really good job of like kind of painting that picture that like she was only there because they cultivated this thing. We did get some more inside information about like how they set it up and like where they were meeting, and they agreed to meet in the parking lot and walking together. And then we had Colin McCabe testified today. Crazy witness because I guess we don't expect it in the Karen retrial, but like he was like very ballsy in there. He was looking right at Aiden and making smirking faces. He had his hand on his hip and was turning towards the crowd. He looked at me multiple times. I was like, sir, what are we doing? Like, pretty ballsy couple of moments there. And then he like testified that like at one point Aiden was passing him, I think at the courthouse. And he said that Aiden straddled his leg and that he slithered through like the snake that he is. And he was like moving through and he's moving his body like this as he's saying. It was just so ridiculous. And you know, that was pretty much it. So there was video there that he took. So I don't know if the public has seen this. I'm assuming every video that exists, everybody has seen, but this one was from his phone, or no, it wasn't from his phone. It was from the perspective of them. And they're walking past all these Karen Read supporters and Turtleboy supporters, and you can hear somebody yell, you know, do it, say something, do it. And Bradel asks Lindsay who that is, who's talking. And she's like, I don't know. And Bradel's like, is that not Grant Smith Ellis, your friend? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And then she corrected him and she said, and he wasn't really my friend. I had met him just that day. So Grant got friend zoned even under oath today. Again. So it took a long time to get through Lindsay's stuff because Bradel was really trying to get it out of her, a couple of these things. And then they were going to enter the video from Frank Keegan, her ex, where we all know she got in the car and called the police and he got arrested for violating the restraining order. They did a sidebar and the judge ultimately decided to play that video, but he wanted it alone. So he went to chambers and viewed it. So we didn't get to see it. So we took a recess, but when we came back, Lindsay was crying. She had a tissue in her hand. She was dabbing her nose and her eye. She had a bottle of water. So she was very upset that this video potentially was going to get played. I don't know, but we never saw it. I mean, everybody has seen it, but like we didn't see it. And so we finished with her and then Matt McCabe. And I mean, we've got so much more to go. And that's tomorrow. I mean, it's a lot of work and very long amount of time for what I think is very obvious is no violation. The judge, I saw moments where, well, first of all, we see a lot more overruled than we ever see in the Karen Read trial, you know, so there's a lot of that happening. But I think he gets it. You know, he gave Bradel some shit at one point and he was just like, I'm only going to let you ask that question one more time. Cause again, Bradel kept going back to like, what was the reason she got there? How did she get there? He really wanted her to say like, she spoke with Paul O'Keefe or whatever. And, you know, the judge was like, I'm not going to let you ask it again. That's it. Like you're done. And then with Cosgrove, you know, he's asking questions and the judge is just like, we get it. Like next question. He was also interjecting with all of the witnesses. Like they would be asked a question and they would elaborate, and rather than like the attorneys tell them to stop or object, the judge was saying it. He would say, just answer the question as it is. No more, no less. Just answer the question, which I interpreted as number one, these are both skilled attorneys. They don't need any help from these witnesses doing like their job for them. And two, like,
Right.
can we move the fuck on? You know what I mean? Because the time is just ticking and ticking. The judge was interested. He got up out of his seat to be able to see the videos that were played. So he was watching those, paying attention to them. But some of that redundant testimony, he was just not interested in it. So we're back again tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I mean, whether it gets finished tomorrow or not, I'm not doing Friday over there. So somebody else better tap in and go in and cover it, because we've got Karen across the street. And I think we've got to be done by tomorrow, I hope. I mean, can we go 11 to 4 again tomorrow and not be done? I mean, everybody was anticipating Paul O'Keefe coming. I heard he was dressed in a suit, but we never saw him. So we'll see him maybe tomorrow, I guess.
Do you know if there's a situation? Yeah. I can't get this word out. Order.
That's a
you know what
great
I'm
question.
saying? I can't get the word out.
Yes.
It's a tongue
Yes,
twister.
there
for me.
is.
Okay.
There is actually, because I was speaking with, I'm just going to plug in my phone. Sorry, besties.
Yeah.
I was speaking with Meredith O'Neill. I was talking about the case, and she actually stepped away, and she's like, I can't be around here because she's been sequestered. So yes. So no. Yes,
What
there
a
is an
bunch
order.
of
Yes.
What a bunch of soft serve people, Jess, to waste time in a courthouse and spend payer dollars to go through so much ridiculous bullshit, hula hoop, sandbox, like crap. Like, really? Like it's like and then just all this shit with like words. Oh, I'm so offended. Oh, he said something to me. You're on a fucking sidewalk or you're in a public place. Like, I can yell motherfucker to you if I want to. That I have every right to do that. These are the most soft.
Well, you can't if you have you can't if you have a restraining order against you. So that's the part of this.
Yeah.
However, they played plenty of videos. So Bradel just went through like 3 videos at one point. Play this one, play this one, play this one. And everyone, it was like, do you hear somebody? Because the statements that Gattani made was that he yelled at her, liar, liar, and that he was within, 100 yards. So far, we haven't seen any evidence of that. Cosgrove has not provided that. You just have Lindsay Gattani is the only one who I think even has had a moment where it's her testimony saying, this is what I heard and this is what I saw. I think the other big takeaway from this today, if anybody really cares, is Lindsay Gattani, in order to just get this and get it in your head, like the day this is happening, the day before Aiden was released from jail, Lindsay Gattani called Aiden. Okay, on his phone. Now, that was what she claims an accident, that he wasn't blocked and she was going through messages, but whatever. Let's just lay it out how Bradel did. You called him the day before he got released. Then he got released. Then he went to the Karen Reed trial, right? And she called him, he got out, and then she showed up and this whole plan was in place. She had her kids and she testified that she had to have a babysitter get her kids off the bus. And her kids had never met this babysitter before. And it's one of the food stamp 5, whatever her name is. And like, she literally didn't introduce her children to a babysitter, and just put this person there to get her kids off the bus so she could go to a trial that she has never attended before, has never attended since, and like just plop somebody there at her house to watch her kids so she could go and do this. I don't know about anybody else, but as a mom, I'm just telling you right now, I was just like, I'm sorry, you put somebody at your home to watch your kids that you've never met before, so you could go do this with the O'Keefes. That's wild to me. I mean, I guess it's par for the course with her, but it's wild. Yeah.
Super wild. Nick Rocco chiming in. Look at this, Jess. Breaking news. Nick says, we're just with Alan and them, and they were planning the closing argument. It's going to be pretty epic. So love that. Love it.
Yikes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So Jess, you're going to be back down there tomorrow. What time does Aiden's trial start? Is it 11 in the morning?
Yeah, so same thing. So I'll probably do the same thing. I'll check in over next door. just in case we get out of this early and we can pop over there. But his starts at 11. Hopefully it doesn't go the whole day. And then hopefully it's done. And then he will be not guilty. Again, this is a bench trial, no jury. I think there was a moment too where, like, you know, Bradel was trying to ask Lindsay questions about the video. And the judge was like, you don't need to ask her any more questions. The video speaks for itself. And I can tell you something. I have been in 2 restraining order hearings of my own, one with Grant, and then someone was trying to get a restraining order against me recently last year. And I presented video in both of those. And in both those instances, both judges didn't want any elaborating on the video. It was almost like you're trying to dumb them down. Both of them said the exact same thing this judge said. The video speaks for itself. I can see it. It's right there. And I heard that today and I was just like, he saw the Keegan video. He gets it. If you're scared of this guy and we went to court and you asked him for an order, why are you in his car? Why are you talking to him? Why are you not far, far away from him? You can't catch me near Grant Smith Ellis at all. Like, I would never go anywhere towards where he is. And if we happen to be somewhere near each other, I would be gone. It's a slap in the face to the court that you're asking to protect you. By the way, Bradel's opening statements to Lindsay Gattani were, you know, you understand about restraining orders. You understand it's like a shield to protect you. And she agreed. And then he set it up just that way. And then he said, but you use yours as a sword, don't you?
Wow.
And that's how he started his questioning of Lindsay Gattani. It was pretty epic.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to get down there. Again, I have trial court. I have traffic court in Rentham at 10 a.m. I'm hoping that concludes pretty quick, and I'm not like the last person called. And then I'm gonna just get over to Dedham and hang out there for most of the day. Well, until the end of the day, and you know, kind of taking the vibe and see what's going on as everything is kind of growing down there, and the buffer zone is kind of opened up. What can you tell me? Like, where can I go? I could be near the deeds building. Can I be across the street and all that stuff too? Or
so you can't be like directly in front of the courthouse. They have it kind of blocked off like from the street again. So you can't, if you're walking across there, you can't stop. So you can't, and you can't have anything on you or whatever. So you can walk there, but people are standing across the street where the registry of deeds are. They're sitting on the grass. Everybody is just hanging out over there. So yeah, way different than it has been this whole trial. And you'll see when you get there. Just go where the people are. They follow the rules. Hardman was out there today. Trooper Hardman, he was hugging Rita and talking to Rita. And yeah, it's like Rita made her come back. I haven't seen her all trial, but she was there today, and Hardman was hugging her. And he was like, yeah, for the most part, you guys are all great. And I don't know, maybe everybody is just ready to just call it a day. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I saw he was talking to someone. I think Dina, he had a clip and said, you know, how are you doing? He was interacting. He's like, oh, you guys are great. It's just such a night and day thing now. Like it's flipped. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, great stuff, Jess. You know, I really appreciate everything that you've been doing here on Wednesday nights and coming over and hanging out and giving us jury reactions on. So you're allowed, wait, are you still in the court? Are you an alternate right now in Karen Reed, or you can be in there on Friday?
I'm an alternate, but it's been able to be accessible, you know, on Monday. So just based on the list of where we were this week, it seems like I could get in there. Now, next week, I'm not in. Aiden is. I'm not even an alternate. But if we're in deliberations and they do it the way they did last year, by Monday, I suspect they're going to clear out that press box. I hope they do. I mean, like, please do it. They cleared out the press box and there's no chairs, and I think we had 13, 14 people in there. So I'm hoping that they do that. If they don't, unfortunately, I will not be in the courtroom, but between us and everybody who's watching, you know, I was talking to Aiden about it and he was like, I'll switch off with you at some point. So,
nice.
you know, yeah. So, you know, hopefully I'll be in there, but if not, there's nothing that I can do, and I'll be outside with everybody else and get the perspective from out there.
Great. Well, let's do this if we can. If we can just catch up. I'd love to have you back, you know, until the trial concludes. Obviously, you know, it's going to go to. I want to finish with you. I hope we can do that. But let's do this. Let's get ready to wrap up. We got an hour. I know Aiden just went live about 7 minutes ago, so I want everybody to go over and
oh my
hang out
God,
with
is
him.
the juror on? Is she on there yet? I'm dying.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Dying.
But I want to do this before we go. Jess, you have been a very instrumental person in my channel and helping out here. And I've gotten to know you very, very well between trial 1 and trial 2. And I want to do something for you tonight. And I got you something here, and I'm glad that I'm going to get to see you tomorrow because I want to actually hand it to you. So I got a little of an appreciation award for you. And it says appreciation award. It says Jess Machado, and it says for superb reporting. And you have captivated a lot of people around the world with your reporting in the Karen Reed case and the Aiden Turtleboy Carney case. And you truly deserve this. You've been a great friend of me and the channel and all these subscribers and people that follow us here. And I truly believe in your reporting. And I appreciate you, and I will get this to you tomorrow and hand it to you.
Brian, first of all, you're making me cry. Show no weakness. Second of all, that looks shiny, and I love shiny things, so thank you. Listen, I don't know if a lot of people know this, and I'll make it quick, but back when Aiden was incarcerated or in jail, I had reached out to his attorneys about doing that first interview with him. And I had only spoken with him through messages before that, but had followed the case, and I wanted to interview him. And during that time, I started speaking with him. He would call me, and there was, at that time, all I remember is he's like, I've got a really great guy that's helping to keep things going for me. And that was you. And I remember as the trial started for Karen, I wasn't sure, I didn't know you, and I'm always suspicious and worried about things. And I called Aiden and I was like, who's this guy, Brian? Like, are we okay? And he was like, he's good people, 100%. And, you know, since then I've gone all in with you. You produce a great product. You're very different. I think you have a heart of gold. And it has been very easy for me to come on here and do this. You make it easy for me, and you've added to my platform. You know, I have gained followers just by coming on here last year. And now I know we will continue to do this in some way, even post-trial. And it's been great. And I love awards. So thank you.
Well, you
and I will get it from you
deserve it.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
Brian, very
I'm gonna
much.
yeah, of course. And I'll get that to you tomorrow. And I can't wait tomorrow to hand Aiden the silver play button that I had made for him. I can't wait for his reaction to that. And, you know, I've just been kind of doing this to people that have been very kind to me and very kind to lending me their time, you know, and coming over here and spending time here and elevating my platform along with theirs and having these great conversations. So again, Jess, I love you. I appreciate you. And tomorrow I will see you outside of the courtroom.
Awesome. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Brian, very much. Bye, besties.
All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. That is Jess Machado, independent reporter. You can find her on X at Jess Machado Show. And please sub to her Substack that's on there. You can get her link right through X. So tomorrow, again, I got traffic court in Rentham. After that, I'm going to pop over to the Karen Reed trial, the Aiden trial, and hang out in front of the courtroom with all of you and get some of these awards in people's hands because I think they deserve them. And I can't wait to hand those tomorrow. So everybody, please go over and watch Aiden right now. He is live, Turtleboy Live. Please do that. And I'll see everybody out front of the courthouse tomorrow. I'm excited. I've only been down there once this trial, and I'm excited to get down there and see all of you. Again, thank you so much for the support of the LTL platform and helping me grow this platform, subscribing, supporting it, and keep telling the word. I want to keep this thing going. I think that we have a really great product here for all of you. And this is only the beginning. It's going to keep getting better here. And I hope that you'll keep joining me for the ride through all these experiences. So I love all of you. Thank you all so much. I'm going to head out for the night, and we'll talk to everybody back on Thursday night. So tomorrow night, I possibly have a special studio guest that's going to be joining me. And I'm going to have Mazza Media on the channel, and we're going to talk about all the proceedings in the Karen Reed trial over the last couple of weeks. and that'll be on Thursday Night Thunder. I hope you'll join us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, everybody, go watch Aiden. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.